I call upon the spirit of the owl, messenger of wisdom. Welcome to the Temple of the Owl. Merry meet, seekers of knowledge, for I am Matzal, your host to the mystic realms. I hope everybody's having a great day today. I want to let everybody know that whatever it is you're struggling with or any problems you have, that you can get through this. Hope you guys are having a great day. Here at the Temple of the Owl, located deep in the forests of Northern California. Today's episode, we will discuss shamanism. Now, this is where we talk about spirituality and magic on all levels, but it's through the perspective of a modern witch. As always, these are just ideas to help you live a magical life and think about things differently. Take the information and do what you will with it. Thank you guys for listening, and thank you for your support. And a special thank you for those listening on KUAP Digital Broadcasting. That's the Troubled Minds Radio Network. Shout out to Michael Strange and all my friends on Troubled Minds for helping me and inspiring me to do these shows. Thank you guys. Well, I want to jump right into this one. This is a great topic, one of my favorites. I like this talking about the old ways and the old times. And I thought about how, I like to think about how shamanism and witchcraft are kind of the same, just like different times. So I like to start with what I call the MOD, or the message of the day. And today's message is: shamanism is an original science of consciousness, the deep ecology of mind, and most ancient and powerful mind-body medicine. And that was from Terence McKenna. And I like that quote. I like to talk about and compare shamanism and witchcraft because I understand there's more similarities than differences. I believe that shamanism is just ancient witchcraft, and that the shamans were doing this type of magic from the dawn of time. Now, shamans were carving pictographs on cave walls so far into the past, and we could see these see these things they left behind. The first shamans emerged deep in humanity's ancient past, long before recorded history, in the world where the line between the spiritual and the physical was thin, and survival meant understanding both nature and spirit. The word shaman is believed to originate from, the Tungust Ivonki, the people of the Siberia. But shaman practices are global, appearing in nearly every culture on Earth. Shamanism dates back to at least 30,000 years to 50,000 years, depending on appearing during the Upper Paleolithic period. The earliest shamans were often spiritual meditators, healers, and guides who entered altered states of consciousness to commune with the spirits, the ancestors, and the unseen realms. Let's go through a little bit about where they were in the world. In Siberia, the term shaman was first documented by Russian explorers. Shamans would drum, chant, and journey in trance to speak with spirit guides or animal allies. The indigenous North and South America, the medicine people and spiritual leaders in the tribes like the Lakota and the Mapanche performed healing ceremonies using song, plant medicine, and spirit communication. In Africa, ancient tribal societies often had diviners or spirit mediums, like the Sangoma of the Southern Africa, who communicated with ancestors for wisdom and healing. In Asia and Mongolia, Mongolian shamans wore elaborate costumes, traveled to the upper or the underworld in trance, and often inherited their roles through lineage or spiritual calling. Now, in Europe, prehistoric cave art in France and Spain, like the famous shaman figure in the Trosfres cave. It suggests spiritual figures in animal garb performing ritual or trance work. Shamanism is an ancient spiritual practice found in cultures around the world. It's based on the belief that everything in the universe is interconnected and alive. I like that. With the emphasis on the importance of maintaining harmony between the physical and the spiritual worlds. Shamans are the practitioners that act as intermediaries between these worlds, using altered states of consciousness to interact with spirits, natures, and the unseen forces that influence life. Shamanism is often rooted in animism, the belief that everything, animals, plants, rocks, rivers, has a spirit or a life force. Shamans communicate with these spirits to gain knowledge, heal, or guide their community. The spirits may be ancestors, nature beings, or other higher cosmic forces. These spirits are seen as helpers or guides in navigating life's challenges. So central to the shamanic practice is the shamanic journey, where the shaman enters an altered state of consciousness, often through drumming, chanting, fasting, or using psychoactive plants. During the journey, the shaman travels to the upper, middle, or lower worlds in the spirit realm. These realms offer different types of wisdom. The upper world for spiritual guidance, the lower world for animal guides and healing, and the middle world for dealing with everyday spirits and nature. The purpose of the journey can vary: to seek healing for oneself or others, to gain wisdom, or to interact with spiritual allies. Now, I like that whole thing about how they go into other altered states of consciousness to get knowledge. That's combined, that's exactly what we're talking about with witchcraft. And all those different ways, we talked about this before, about the gates of witchcraft, how like chanting and drumming, singing, music, all these things and different ways to get to that altered states of consciousness. The shamans were known as healers. They address illnesses that are believed to have spiritual causes, such as soul loss, spirit intrusion, or energy blockages. Healing methods can include soul retrieval, where the shaman brings back a part of the person's soul that has been lost due to trauma, or extraction, where negative or harmful spirit energy is removed from the body. They also practice herbalism and plant medicine. That's also important to shamanism. They have deep knowledge of healing properties of plants and animals. Power animals or spirit animals are essential allies. Every person is believed to have one or more spirit animals that protect, guide, and empower them. Shamans can help people connect with their power animals during rituals or journeys. The spirit animals often represent qualities of lessons that the person needs to integrate into their life. Shaman practice involves various rituals and ceremonies aimed at restoring balance between individuals, communities, and nature. These include rites of passage, healing ceremonies, seasonal rituals, and offerings to the spirit. Common elements in shamanic rituals include drumming, chanting, dancing, and the use of sacred objects such as feathers, stones, or rattles. Shamans hold a spiritual leadership role in their communities. They are seen as wisdom keepers, healers, and mediators who maintain the balance between the physical and the spiritual realm. The role of the shaman is often inherited or chosen by the spirits, who may call an individual through dreams, illnesses, or mystical experiences. Becoming a shaman involves deep training, intentions, and a close relationship with spirit guides. Shamans often play a key role in guiding souls to the afterlife, ensuring they make a smooth transition. This process is called the psychopomp work, where the shaman helps the deceased move on and protects the living from being affected by wandering spirits. While traditional shamanism is linked to indigenous cultures in Siberia, Mongolia, the Americas, and Africa, it has also influenced modern spiritual practices. Contemporary shamanism, also called neo-shamanism, adapts ancient techniques for personal growth, healing, and the connection to nature. Many people today explore shamanism as a spiritual path that emphasizes connection with the earth, ecological awareness, and holistic healing. However, it is important to approach shaman traditions with respect, especially when borrowing from cultures where shamanism is deeply rooted. Let's talk about the tools of the shaman. Drums, used for journeying and connecting with the rhythm of the earth. Rattles, used to call in spirits or break up negative energy. Feathers, symbols of connection with the sky and used for smudging or cleansing. Crystals and stones hold earth energy, and they're used for healing and grounding. Sacred plants such as sage, ayahuasca, peyote, and tobacco are often used for purification, vision quests, and healing. Shamanism is ultimately a spiritual practice of connection to the earth, the spirits, and the deeper layers of existence. It offers a way to bring healing and balance to individuals and communities, honoring the wisdom of both the physical and the unseen worlds. Now, shamanism and witchcraft share common ground, especially with their focus on working with the natural and spiritual worlds. But they are distant practices with different historical and cultural roots. Both paths emphasize personal empowerment, healing, and a deep connection to nature and the unseen realms. Here's some ways that they are related. Both shamanism and witchcraft emphasize a strong bond with the natural world. Shamans see nature as alive and filled with spirits. They work with the energies of animals, plants, the elements, and the land. Shamanic rituals often involve communing with the spirits of animals or plants, seeking their guidance for power. Similarly, witches view nature as sacred and imbued with magical potential. Many witches work with the cycles of the moon, the seasons, and the elements. The use of natural objects like herbalism or like stones and plants and honoring the earth's rhythms are common practices in witchcraft. Both traditions emphasize healing, though the methods and contents can differ. Shamans are often considered spiritual healers, working with alignments that they are caused by imbalances in the soul or the spirit. They engage in soul retrievals, energy extractions, and work with the spirit allies to restore balance and health. Healing in witchcraft often involves the use of herbs, spells, and energy work. Witches may create healing potions, charms, or spells to address emotional, spiritual, or physical issues. Some witches also use energy healing techniques similar to those in shamanism. Both practices use altered states of consciousness to access spiritual wisdom and guidance. Engage in shamanic journeying, where they enter altered states through drumming, chanting, fasting, or using sacred plants. To visit spiritual realms, communicate with spirit guides, and gain knowledge. Witches use meditation, trance states, or astral projection to communicate with spirits, deities, or the higher self. Rituals, chanting, or drumming can also help witches alter or enter the altered states for divination, spell work, and spiritual guidance. Both shamanism and witchcraft involve interacting with the spirits, though the types of spirits and methods can vary. Shamans work closely with the spirit allies, such as the animal spirits, the plant spirits, ancestors, and the elemental forces. These spirits provide guidance, protection, and healing. Now, witches often work with deities, ancestors, nature spirits, and elementals. They may also summon or work with spirit guides or familiars to aid in spell work, protection, and divination. Both shamanism and witchcraft use ritual as a key element in spiritual practice, though their forms differ. Shamanic rituals are often community focused and involved ceremonies for healing, blessing, protecting, and connecting with the spirit world. They frequently include offerings to spirits, drumming, and dancing. Now, witches also use these rituals for spell work, protection, divination, and celebrating the seasonal cycles, like the Wheel of the Year that we talk about. Witchcraft may also be more individual or coven-based, often involving candles, herbs, symbols, and tools like wands or athames. There are different in the role of the shaman and witches, though both are considered powerful spiritual figures. A shaman is a mediator between the physical and the spiritual worlds, and often serving a community as a healer, guide, and protector. Becoming a shaman often involves a calling from the spirits and undergoing righteous training or initiation. Now, a witch may not be required to serve a community, but instead focus on personal or collective magic. Witches can be solitary practitioners or work in groups called covens. And many self-identify as witches through study, practice, and experience, rather than a formal initiation. Both practices focus on manipulating energy to create change, although their approaches differ slightly. Shamans work with spiritual energy, often through the help of spirit guides or the forces of nature, to bring about healing or balance. The rituals are deeply rooted in maintaining harmony between the physical and the spiritual realms. Witches use magic and spell work to direct energy towards manifesting their intentions, whether for love, protection, prosperity, or other purposes. They also work with the elements and cosmic forces to influence their outcomes. Both shamans and witches use sacred tools, though the tools may vary based on tradition. Shamans use drums, rattles, feathers, and sacred plants in their ceremonies. These tools help them connect to spirit realms and direct energy. But witches use tools like wands, athames, which are the ritual knives, cauldrons, and candles. These tools are used in spell work, ritual, and directing magical energy. Both traditions use herbs and plants. Shamans use sacred plants like ayahuasca, peyote, or tobacco in their rituals to induce altered states and communicate with the spirit world. They have an extensive knowledge of medical and spiritual properties of plants. Witches use herbs in spells, potions, and rituals, focusing on both their medical and magical properties. common herbs in witchcraft include sage, rosemary, lavender. While shamanism and witchcraft share many commonalities, there are key differences in focus. Often revolves around more communal and healing role, where the shaman serves their tribe or community by directly interacting with the spirits for guidance and healing. Witchcraft can be more individualized, with the focus on personal empowerment, spellcraft, and working on both the physical and spiritual energies to create change. Many modern practitioners combine elements of both traditions, drawing on shamanic techniques such as journeying and working with the spirit animals, while also using witchcraft's focus on spells, rituals, and magical tools. Both paths honor the interconnectedness of all life and the power of the unseen forces that shape our world. And that is what I like to do. I like to blend them both together, because I understand that there are more similarities than differences. Well, I want to know, what do you guys think? Do you guys think about shamanism? Have you guys heard of this before? Does anyone practice this out there? Let me know in the comments. I want to thank you guys for listening to Temple of the Owl. We're out of time today, but I want to thank you guys for listening. Please like, subscribe, and do all the things. Just help me out. And also, I did make a website, a thing for shirts. Got some cool shirts coming up. I got some ideas for some shirts that I'm going to put on there, just to check it out, just see what you guys think. And thank you guys for listening. Special thank you for those listening on KUAP Digital Broadcasting. That's the Troubled Minds Radio Network. And thank you guys out there on Troubled Minds. I release the spirit of the owl. This is Matt's owl. Blessed be.
For many centuries, witchcraft has been considered evil, associated with the devil and all things dark. Let's break these stereotypes with your host, Matt Owl, of the Temple of the Owl. Let's talk about magic, of the old ways to explore the many roles of the witch, including the tools of the craft, the history of the science behind